what are the biggest red flags that a homeowner should see or look out for before they hire another contractor?
One thing that a homeowner could really do on their side is make sure they know what they want before they get started with a major project. They might be tired of their home the way it is and think, oh, if we added a gymnasium or a media room, wouldn't that be nice? But they're not sure, and I think it would be a mistake to ask an architect to entertain their ideas that they're looking to expand or change their place to something new and more exciting. They should really know what they want. We need another bathroom because our grandpa's moving in or something like that might be a good reason. But just because they're looking for something exciting or different is not going to always be the right reason to go get involved in an alteration of your building, which I guess my experience after seeing so many renovation jobs go badly, there's kind of a line I think I would personally stick to, which, and it may be like an analogy towards a car. You don't sell the car because you need new tires. And so windows or roof, things of that nature that wear out, you could look at them like your car has a set of tires and you're not sure if you should change them or not. So one conclusion I came up is you really need to know how much longer you want to live in the home, all right? How much longer you're going to own the car. If you've got a classic car and it's got tires that are approaching the end of their life, but you could probably get 2 more years out of them and sell the car. My conclusion is why drive around on tires that are suspect and then buy new tires for the person who's going to own the car next? So if you extend that to the roof or to the windows, if you're going to be in a house, a 25-year-old house for 2 more years, and you think you can get through 2 more storm seasons with your roof, you're going to take a chance. I think that's a mistake. I think you should buy the new roof or the new tires and get the benefit out of the new roof or the new tires or the new windows yourself. Then you don't have to worry about somebody saying, oh, I really like the car, but it needs new tires and the convertible roof is damaged. Enjoy the new roof, enjoy the new windows, and then sell a house in 2 years or whatever. But when it comes to if you don't like the house you're living in because it's not big enough anymore, or if you don't like the house you're looking or thinking about buying, but you're thinking, oh, we'll just renovate and we'll put new rooms here or there. I think people get in trouble when they try to change the footprint of the house. To think that I'm in a house that I'm not happy with anymore, I'll call a contractor and he'll come and tear it half apart, and in 6 months from now, I'll be really happy. That's usually not how the story goes. There's a lot of problems that are possible during that time. And
especially when you start opening up those walls.
Well, right. If you buy a new house and you say, well, it's not big enough, but we'll just add two rooms or another 1,000 square feet. Yeah, you're just asking for problems. I would say look for a different house.
Yeah.
Or if you're not happy in the house you're in now, you think you want to knock down some walls and make it bigger, add a mother-in-law suite, just find another house and save yourself the trouble. This is not probably what contractors who are making money renovating. And like I said, a good general contractor is not out there looking to do a $10,000 or $15,000 job. They're out building new houses. So your labor pool for that type of work is also
very
not
limited.
Great to begin with.
Yeah.
So think about, if you either be grateful for what you have the way it is, or move, or don't buy that house, as opposed to, oh, we'll just change everything and then we'll be happy and we'll live happily ever after. It's just been my experience that a lot of renovations don't end happily ever after.
At least, we stopped doing general construction around COVID. And a conversation that I would have with a lot of people is, you can't find a house because at least during COVID, it was like house hits the market, 20 offers, and, it was extremely competitive. And at the time, the cost per foot was significantly higher in a purchase versus a construction cost. I mean, to like South Miami, Coral Gables, I want to say we were somewhere around like maybe $1,000 a foot versus construction costs you could potentially start as low as 200 and work your way up to $1,000 plus, depending on the finishes. So it was actually a time where it did make sense to financially, to where it did make sense to where, I guess there was nothing you couldn't do to build equity in the home. You could do nothing and build equity. You can do construction and build equity. It was an interesting time. But yeah, I would always tell people, it's like, and the same thing goes with roofing and windows. It's like, whenever you're doing a project, it's not only the financial cost, there's an emotional cost. There's an invasion of privacy when somebody is in your home or you're displaced from your home during construction that you're not considering as part of the cost of this project. And, we talk about that when somebody wants to do like a single door or a single window. It's like, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but just get it done in one shot and you never have to worry about it again. Let's stop repairing your roof, kicking the can down the road. It's already 23 years old. It's time. We can keep putting a Band-Aid on it, but if this part of your roof is going bad, there's a pretty good chance that it's going on somewhere else. You just don't know about it yet.
That's when you should get a really good professional roof inspector, as opposed to calling the roofer. Because if you really think there's only one leak, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But the roofer's going to try to sell you a new roof. He's a salesperson. He's not a roof inspector. No, don't get me wrong. A lot of times you need a new roof.
No,
and a lot of times you should get a roof a year or two before you have the blowout in the tire going down the highway. Why do you, if you're seeing mold on your ceiling, you waited too long for your new roof. You don't have to have multiple leaks to know it's time to replace it. It's just like you don't have to have a blowout doing 70 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah, no, so I was completely joking with you. In multiple cases, we've told people, we get calls all the time, and that gets into like, talking about people's warranty. Somebody calls us about a roof leak. The first question we ask is, how old is the roof? We hear 2, 3, 5, 10, 12, and we're like, hey, 5-10 year warranty is pretty standard. Did you call that company first? And it's typically we call them, but they don't come. Oh, they're long gone, whatever the case may be. But in some cases, we've had the conversation while we're sitting there in their living room and say, hey, have you called the other contractor? And they're like, no, I haven't. And they're like, well, we're going to give you a price for it. Why don't you try to give them a call first? If they won't handle it, we're happy to take care of the roof for you. I did something the other day. It was actually, I questioned myself about it. So, and this is not advertising. This was a special case scenario. So there's a beautiful, beautiful home in Pinecrest, and there's a homeowner that it was very price sensitive. And for the size of home that he purchased, price sensitivity does not fit. My mom was a teacher. I understand what price sensitive is. If you're buying a $5 million plus house, unless the company is ridiculously expensive, I completely understand. Long story short, company A was at 180. We came in at 170. Company C came in at 140, and he wanted me to get down there. And I was like, there's no way for me to make $1, pay for my guys, and afford the gas to drive to your home, let alone the materials for your job, to make it make sense. I ended up calling the guy after. He was dealing with somebody from my team, and I called him and I said, hey, look, we did the research for you. This company you're considering has 3 complaints against their license, has multiple complaints on the BBB, has 7 reviews on Google. 2 of them are good. The other 5 are bad. I was like, you have the means to pay for this project. I'd love for you to consider us. At the same, and he's also in a rush to get the project done. At the same time, you can afford the difference if you like us and you trust us. And it makes sense, like we're here, but I can't go any lower than that. I already started off like at my base price. I can't go any lower. And he didn't want to hear it. And he was basically decided on going with that $140,000 contractor. And I said, look, you're not from Miami. You're from California. You just moved here. I think you're making a huge mistake. I'm going to do you a favor, and I'm going to give you my competition's number. They're a big company. You're just going to be another number, but they do have a reputation that they're going to protect, and they, for whatever reason, they end up being very competitive. They may or may not get a lot closer to that person, but just do your family the favor and go with them over this other contractor. And and it was yeah, I like to joke around. I have a good time. And he's like, oh, okay, give me their number. And then I pause for a second, and I go, do you think I'd actually give you my competition's number? He started to like backpedal. He's like, well, no, I didn't think you would. And I was like, I'm messing with you. And I was like, yes, I won't advertise this, and here I am talking about it. But just protecting people from themselves. He has a newborn kid, beautiful family, beautiful people, but just I guess out of principle, he doesn't want to pay for the service. And that you're the perfect person to that I wish I could lug around with me to say, tell him.
You're getting what you pay for here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, sometimes you get a deal. Sometimes you get a great bargain. Somebody messed up on their prices, but overall, if all the red flags are there and you still want to go down that road, it's like
One thought occurred to me a minute back when you said they had a roof installed and it was leaking after 2 years or a few years, and my first thought is, it was leaking since the first day. It took them 2 years to find out.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great point.
It almost certainly was leaking the whole time.